Good afternoon, everybody. It's a dog with you on a Monday, the 18th of December, 2017. And if you missed it, Santa Claus is getting geared up, ready to come our way. Hard to believe, isn't it? Christmas coming up in about a week away. It's kind of scary. We welcome you to our show today on the Weber, and we would love to have you welcome a couple of good friends of mine who have been in to do my show. They take some time out of their busy schedules, and that, of course, is Kyle Black, the general manager of Seneca Meadows, along with my good friend Mark Benjamin, who's involved in community relationships for the company. Kyle, thanks a lot for spending some time with us, and appreciate you coming in.
Hey, dog. We appreciate you having us on again.
And
always a good time.
Yeah, and Mark's good seeing you.
Thank you so much, and Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you, and we'll do some of that. And by the way, at the end of the show, we'll be wishing you, from all of us, a great Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And no, if you ask me, I'm not going to stay up to watch the ball come down for New Year's Eve. I haven't done that in a long, long time, but Mary, my wife, will be doing that. But we got lots to talk about regarding Seneca Meadows and some of the things they've done behind the scenes that they do not like a lot of publicity. But we got some things that they've been involved that we want to share with you. But I think it would be safe to say, Kyle, a lot has been said about, I guess you sometimes you guys at Seneca Meadows take more rights that you're begging for a left. Sometimes you have a lot of supporters. You have some detractors, obviously. But, one thing that caught my attention preparing for the program was a guest appearance article that you wrote for the Finger Lakes Times in response to Mr. DeSico's commentary that he wrote against Seneca Meadows, saying that Seneca Meadows levies the sense of fear regarding the town board, and they do everything you want them to do. You responded in kind back in early November about the fact that you outlined some facts. They were facts. And the reason they were facts is they were developed not by Kyle Black or Mark Benjamin. They were developed by the internal side of the Seneca Falls Town Board. So please advise or give us an update on what made you do it and what were your opinions, and based on the fact that it's one thing to be criticized, but without facts, that bothered you somewhat.
Absolutely, Harold, and that's the part that hit home the hardest is accusing us of using fear. Mm-hmm. We don't use fear. We've been a great business partner to this town. We have a bunch of great business partners in this community that have done a lot of great things over the years, and I just couldn't. I could not let that go unresponded. So I had to set the facts straight. We've been a great business partner to the town of Seneca Falls and to the town of Waterloo, but to the town of Seneca Falls for the last 18 years. Mm-hmm. We've contributed over $48 million direct to keep taxes low and allow the town to do a lot of great things for their constituents. And we've always had that great business relationship. Mm-hmm. So I was very disturbed at the tone of Mr. DeSico's article, when in fact a lot of the information that Mr. DeSico provided is fear-mongering. Mm-hmm. Flat out. It's just not facts. We work in the facts. We're highly regulated. We have multiple permits that the DEC oversees, with both on-site and off-site, and we take great pride in hitting all those. We just had our permit renewed for another 8 years with the DEC, which was a great achievement. The DEC's also has new regulations they put in place that continue to move forward New York State's stance as one of the strongest environmental states, in this great country that we live in, to protect the environment, protect the water, protect the air, and we're proud every day. Our 100 people over there are proud every day to uphold those regulations and uphold that high environmental standard that we've set.
Okay, good. That's a good response. Certainly, Kyle Black, if you just tuned in, Kyle Black and Mark Benjamin representing Seneca Meadows, joining the Weber Show. My final show for this year, by the way, and looking forward to some time off on a Monday. But Kyle, you gave us the last time you were in an update on the odor issue regarding the complaints that you get on occasion, and you were investing a lot of money, and your team was putting together a plan. Could you give us just a short, brief update on where that stands right now?
Absolutely. The plan's pretty much 95% complete. Our contractors did a great job this year. As wet as it was, we had 11 inches of above and beyond rainfall. They fought through that through the summer, and we had a great fall, and they were able to get the the other 56 acres of cap done. We've seen a marked decrease in odor complaints because of that, and a marked increase in landfill gas collected that's making renewable energy with our great energy partner ARIA. So I would say that plan that we hatched back in the winter of 16 has pretty much come to full fruition, and we've noticed a marked difference. I know myself when I'm out there in the community, as I am quite a bit, a lot of people say that. They say, yeah, you guys have done a good job. It's definitely better. And we continue to work to raise that bar up so we're not impacting our neighbors and the odors stay on our property.
What's amazing to me is as you know, I work at Del Lago. I just left there recently, but I worked there for 10 months, and I was telling Mark Benjamin one day, I go right by your facility on the way to work part-time, and I noticed there are days where I don't smell anything, and there are some days, depending on the wind or something, I might smell a little bit, and I think, I don't know, you've explained it many times, and I know your engineers have, could it be the wind shift? It could be something that may have caused it on some days where you smell a little something versus not smelling anything at all going by. I mean, I drive by the facility.
Yeah, the atmospheric conditions definitely play a factor into it, just like they play a factor into any odor that your nose picks up.
Okay.
Whether you're driving by a farm or another industrial manufacturing point, or driving through Seneca Falls and you smell some great chicken wings from Parker's.
Right. Sure.
Not for nothing.
Yeah.
That's what you get. The atmosphere, when you get those days where the wind's gentle and it's just holding the air, that's when the odors kind of stick around. But again, our team, we've got 8 people full time on that, moving every day, moving the equipment, trying to predict that wind and trying to predict where the odors are gonna go to make sure we get our lines of defense in front of it.
And I think we're going to go to Mark Benjamin in a second about some of the events that he's been involved in, along with Kyle and the company, what they do. But it's best to do this now, I think. It's a perfect time to have you guys in the last show of this year. I've gotten to know you both, and yes, they're a sponsor, so I know everybody accuses me the reason I bring them on every other week, which is not true, by the way, is because they sponsor my show. We'll get to my sponsors. I'm going to spend a couple of minutes at the end of the show thanking all the people that sponsor the show. But Mark and Kyle, yes, they're sponsoring my show, and they have been for the last several months. But it's part of doing these shows to try to secure sponsors, and they were nice enough to come on. Would I have them on if they weren't a sponsor? Absolutely. Are they friends of mine? Absolutely. But I do get a little tired of the people that criticize me online, and I know there are some people taking shots at me, and I'm sure the detractors of Kyle and Mark are some of the detractors, and I'll remain anonymous on their names. They only say the only reason they come on is because they are paying me, or not that I ever get the money from them directly, but the point is, I just want to remove that as we move into a new year. Yes, they're sponsors. I hope they're on for a long time with me. We try to be fair in this show. We certainly try to secure sponsors for any show that we do, and I think Jimmy, being the owner, would like to see us continue to do that. But my point is, I hate the criticism, the fact the only reason they're on is because they're a sponsor. It couldn't be any farthest thing from the truth. It isn't like they're paying us $1,000 every 3 days to have this show. I mean, my whole point is sometimes, people get carried away with criticism, and I can take the criticism. Believe me, I've been doing media for over 40 years between radio and this show. So you can bring it on to me, but I wish you would characterize your complaints about the only reason they come on my show is because they're sponsors. That's ludicrous, because I've got 9 or 10 sponsors, and yeah, they're friends and they're sponsors, and everybody has a different view. Would I like to see totally non-odor issue from Seneca Meadows? Absolutely. I think he's working on it. His people are working on it. They're spending money. As I said before, once I had Seneca Meadows on the first time, before they even became a sponsor, I made a point to Mark Benjamin, who I had lunch several times at Red's, and I think Mark remembers it, that if they had not done anything to try to change the style and to do it a good job of trying to find out the factors involved and spend millions of dollars to get the job done, my whole view of Seneca Meadows would have completely been different. Yeah, they're probably just trying to hijack us and just make a lot of money. The point is, Mark and Kyle, and Mark can speak volumes of, but Kyle and his team have spent a lot of money of corporations. And I used to work for a major corporation, ITT, Google, Xylem, or whatever we call it now. Any corporation, in my view, that spends millions of dollars to try to correct an issue for the town of Seneca Falls, to me, means something. And these guys have done it. And I think, I'm not making this stuff
No,
up,
absolutely.
right? You've spent a lot of money on this.
Our odor plan
Yeah.
was estimated at almost $14 million, and we spent a little over 13 of it.
Yeah.
So we definitely, and that money wasn't budgeted.
No, I know.
So the new company that came in, a lot of criticism we hear at these public commentary. It's a Canadian corporation. It's a Texas. It's not.
Yeah.
It's Mark and it's me, and
Right.
it's the other 80 people that work and live in this community, pay our taxes here, eat here, drink here, sleep here. We all want the same thing. We
I
just
agree.
want to run our business and provide great jobs and continue to be a good asset to this area.
I agree. Well, let's turn the focus on some things that are being involved, and I'm sure they don't take glory in their moral. They don't want it. They do a lot of things behind the scenes to help out a lot of organizations, but I think it's important that we bring up some of the things that they're involved in, that they've been involved in, and they will continue to be involved in. That wouldn't happen if they weren't here, and I think it's important for me to bring it up. Let's talk about, Mark, it's good to see you again. Let's talk about, there were some issues or some comments that you made to me about when I asked you about giving me some information. Talk about the Seneca Falls Development Corporation 2020. That's something that Seneca Meadows is involved in supporting. And I know that we're going to have Joelle Murney-Karsten on, ironically, the next show, which is January the 8th, to talk about that.
Well, very good. That'll be a good segue then into January. We're pleased. We've been involved in several of the committee meetings, and once they started organizing their official entity for the 2020 celebration, 100th year celebration of the 19th Amendment, we stepped right in with a significant contribution to help kickstart those plans and processes and those campaign awareness programs that'll be happening over the next 2 years.
And that's great because it's ironic, isn't that a twist of irony? My very next guest next year will be Joelle Murney-Karsten, and talking with Greg Zeller as well. I think he'll be in as well with her. It'll be on January the 8th, so it's a great segue. We also got the Seneca Falls Backpack Program.
Indeed, Harold. This time of year we're really focused on reaching out and providing some things in the community like food and clothing to those that might be at most risk and need those items. And we're laser focused on that this time of year, and we're providing a contribution to the backpack program. And the backpack program currently serves close to 100 kids in the Seneca Falls School District. And one of the things that I think is neat about our participation is that we can also provide some snacks in school during the day to those kids as well.
And to listen, Kyle Block and Mark Benjamin are my guests. We're talking about some of the programs that they don't make a big deal out of and splash it and dash it in the paper, what they're doing behind the scenes. But I think it's noteworthy that we talk about some of the things that they are involved in that you may not even be aware of. How about the Seneca Falls VFW Christmas food boxes? That's an important element as well.
Absolutely, and if you're aware of the history of that organization, in the past they put on a Christmas dinner for free to the community. And of course, these days it's tough to get volunteers. So what they started doing, I believe, a year or two ago is providing Christmas food boxes to folks. And so we help out with that as well.
And of course, we've got a couple more things to talk about. I know you've been involved in since you've been in existence, the House of Concern.
Absolutely. We're pleased to provide another 800 meals to that group this winter. And they do a great job providing several 100,000 meals a year to the community, and we're just pleased that we can help participate in that process.
And one program that I'm sure Kyle and Mark are most proud of, I saw Kyle and Mark allow them to come into their facility and do some engineering on bicycles. Of course, that's hoop/bikes. I give credit to Mark Benjamin, my friend, who called me one day and said, "Do you mind if I send you some information about this for an upcoming show possibility?" And he gave me a name of Michael Scaglione. And I said, sure, I'd love to get, I always like leads and tips on bringing people in to do the program with me. And Michael came in, and was an excellent guest. And we talked to, is it Bob Hooper?
It is Bob.
Bob Hooper, former Seneca Falls guy. I think I know him personally, now that I think about it. And he's in Florida, and we connected him on the phone and talked to him the day of the show, and talked about how he got involved, how he started, how he wanted to give bikes to kids. And let's put it this way. I think Kyle and you would agree it's turned out to be magnificent. It's turned out to be colossal. And I saw your pictures on Facebook relative to the work that you did at your facility. Brought all the people in, and also different people were trying to maneuver and work on putting bicycles together. And I couldn't believe the picture at the end of all the bicycles that were, what do you do, like 100 or so? Is that,
well, we did a
couple hundred?
Over 200 this year.
That's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. So I know, Kyle, it's got to make you feel good, knowing that not only you allow them to come in to use your facility to do the work, to get it done, but to know that you and a lot of your staff and a lot of the people involved, including Michael Scaglione, et cetera, can do this and help out a kid that is so much deserving for Christmas. It's got to make you feel good.
Oh, it's awesome. And the program originated, we've always participated with hoops, and it was always, hey, what do you need, and
right.
A monetary donation. Again, this was another program that Waste Connections brought to the table. Our company does it nationally with all of our sites, where basically for every employee contribution, they double it. All our vendors, we got a lot of great vendors that donated, over $1,000 a piece. Aria Energy, our great energy partner, Ensol Environmental, DC Rouser, Dave and Kelly Rouser, American Falconry, who takes care of all our Falcon stuff. Local guy out of Newark. Kabricki and Marcy that did a lot of the work on our cell construction and our capping project. Vantage Equipment and Valley Fuel all stepped up. Last year, our vendors, first year out of the box, did good, but this year they hit it out of the park. So we are actually going to be building. We actually had to have a third night added. Our vendors just kept contributing to the point where we had to order more bikes.
That's amazing.
And we're going to end up with 225 bikes that are going to be able to be distributed by the Hoops program. And it's just, who knows where it goes from here. But and the great part of it is those pictures you saw, we had all members of the community coming in. We had some gentlemen from Gould's come in that Michael knows. We had some banking people. We had Councilman Ferrara and Councilman Rizika come in with their wives building. County Manager Shepard and his son. We had four great students from the Waterloo Honor Society come in and help us. It's just a great time. We play Christmas music and everybody builds, and we get these bikes together, and it's just awesome to see them all together and take that picture and know that a kid's going to get a bike, and that's a big deal. It's not just a little doll; it's a bike. It's with a helmet.
That's pretty neat.
That's something tangible.
That's pretty neat. And, Mark, I love the way they did it, too. And then we'll take our commercial break. I love the way they do it, too. They do it through the social workers that are involved in some of the families, and they make a determination based on the need and then pass that on. And, and then they make a determination who would end up getting the bicycles.
That's correct. And Michael Scaglione, to his credit, he works really hard to get that list together and just make sure it's there's not any overlaps between any of the different services in the area, and he just does a really great job.
Well, listen, Kyle Black, Mark Benjamin, Seneca Meadows representing them today here on the Weber Show. Just a reminder before we go to our commercials, the guys that harass me about coming on the show, they're sponsors. These guys are too, so it's only kind of funny I have to throw a shot that way. By the way, let's not forget high school basketball here on Finger Lakes 1 coming up this week, pre-Christmas. Wednesday night, Minders Academy travels to take on Waterloo. And then Friday night, Penn will take on Geneva. That game will be in Waterloo. As you all know, Geneva going through a major complex change up there, building. They'll be playing some of their games in Waterloo and Romulus, New York. Let's take our commercial break. We'll come back with Kyle Black and Mark Benjamin. Acting as a gateway to the Finger Lakes, Del Lago leverages the natural beauty and unique offerings while enhancing tourism in the region. The casino features 2,000 slot machines, 89 gaming tables, including 12 poker tables. Portico by Fabio Viviani, a 2,400-person entertainment center. Farmers Market Buffet. The hotel, spa, and banquet facility will open summer 2017. Cayuga Lake National Bank. Visit Bill Ryan and his team for all of your banking needs. Offices in Union Springs and Aurora, a fine sponsor of this show for over 30 years. DA Liquor on Bridge Street in Seneca Falls. Amy Padula and her team will find the right spirit for you every time. When you stop in, tell Amy the dog sent you. The Gold Hotel welcomes you to come out and enjoy the revitalization of this historic downtown Seneca Falls landmark. Every Wednesday is Ladies' Night with special price drinks and half-priced appetizers. The Omen Theater on William Street in Lyons. See what's playing this week at omentheater.com. Located off New York State Thruway Exit 41, the McGee Diner has earned their reputation as a popular family restaurant, serving country fresh home-cooked meals daily. Stop in for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, and check out their menu at mcgeediner.com. The Child Advocacy Center of the Finger Lakes is a child-friendly location where allegations of physical or sexual abuse are responded to by a multidisciplinary team of professionals. The team works together to conduct a thorough investigation and to provide necessary support services to children and their non-offending caregivers with a goal of minimizing further trauma to a child. Seneca Meadows is an award-winning company that has earned a reputation of going above and beyond to protect the environment and support their community. As an EPA inspector once said, their operation is head and shoulders above the rest. And the Newark Pilots of the Perfect Game Collegiate Baseball League, a minor league team with a major league ballpark. Season ticket packages available at newarkpilots.com. And the Wilson Press in Seneca Falls. My good pal Rich Rickey and his team can handle all of your printing and mailing needs. Visit them online at wpress.com. Welcome back, everybody. It's a dog with you on a good old Monday, the 18th of December. And again, this will be my final show for the year. I know I'm not retiring or getting fired, hopefully. But the reason it is because Christmas is on a Monday and New Year's Day is on a Monday. So, lucky me. I could have this webinar this week on a Tuesday and I have to come to work. But no, we'll be back in January, knock on wood, God willing. And again, our first guest will be Joelle Murray Carson. We'll be talking about 2020, the great women's deal that's going to be phenomenal for this town of Seneca Falls. And I know, Mark, you're excited as well. It's going to be great.
Oh, absolutely. And my shout out to 2020.
That's right, 2020. And I think of that every time I see 2020 on TV, too. It's kind of weird how that works out. Well, you know, it's amazing. We look at the clock and it's 23 minutes after. Kyle, I know that, you're involved in a lot of political stuff where, the town and you've been at odds and maybe makeup, and then there's other issues. When you go home every night, I think I've asked you this before, I know you've got a lot of people that support Seneca Meadows, a lot of people, and there are some, obviously, detractors. But I know you try to keep ebb and flow and you try to keep a smile on your face. But as we move into the holiday season, your folks do work hard, and they do earn a good living, and you do present yourself in a class manner all the time that you've been with me. How does that make you feel as far as, day to day, you live in the area, and you think, I can't, when you walk into a room, you see people in the room, and you can never please them because they're anti-Seneca Meadows, and you can't remove that, maybe not now, maybe down the road you can. How does that make you feel as you think about, what you do for the company, your company, as you move forward?
Well, what it makes me feel and think of is the other 80 people that work out there. Mm-hmm. That's really what I think of every time. I think of our team. We got a great team. Obviously, Mark's part of it. We got a great bunch of people that care every day, show up to work hard. Remember, the business that we're doing is one of the most dangerous statistically in the country. And they show up with all their safety equipment, their PPE, and they get it done right every day. And remember, what we're doing is we're handling the byproducts that other people don't want to handle.
Yeah.
The recycling's been done. All the good stuff has already been pulled out at the sources and things like that, and we're really handling the byproduct and handling it. And handling it well. So what I think of every time I go to bed, every time I go into a meeting,
right,
is I've got 80 plus people on my shoulders that are there with me. So that's what I think about, because people is what makes us.
Oh yeah.
That's our business. Yeah, we got a lot of big toys and big equipment that's great to bring people out and see, but without the right people doing the right thing, you don't have anything. And we've got a bunch of great people. We just had a great Christmas party at the Gould and celebrated, had a great evening, and that's what we try to do. I think our safety clock is up to almost 100 days. So right after the first of the year, we're going to have another safety celebration. 100 days incident free at our facility is a big deal.
Oh yeah.
That's completely incident free with all those moving parts happening every day. So that's really a credit to the laser focus that our people have on their well-being, our customers' well-being, and our community's well-being every day, all day. So that's what I think about every day.
It's good. And Mark, you're about and around the town. I see an awful lot, and I know you're at a lot of places during the course of the week and during the course of the month. You have a lot of things you take part in. And I guess echoing what Kyle said, I know you want to wish all your fellow colleagues at Seneca Meadows a very happy holiday season, as it's upon us within days. And I think we all should enjoy the holiday season. And I know you don't personally take the checks out of your account, your personal account, but I know that you, as a representative of Seneca Meadows, works with a lot of people to make their life easier and smoother and able to do things that they couldn't do without your support. And I know that has to make you feel good. And I know, say a couple words about the great people out at Seneca Meadows.
It does. It feels good. And we're all our entire team is looking forward to getting into 2018 and continue to do the right thing, to go and be above and beyond, to protect the environment and to be good neighbors, and to do all the things that our community has come to expect from us.
And that is a lot. Well, I'm going to just take a minute here. As I told you, I was going to praise my sponsors. At the end of the show, the end of the year, it's my last show for this year. And again, I wouldn't be anywhere without sponsors. And again, I've been blessed since I started doing radio in 1970. We were sold out for ads, and we had people waiting to come on the show, and I've been blessed with the sponsors for this show. And I just want to say thank you over the airwaves. I did send out thank you cards, and I hopefully got yours, but I did send them out. And I just want to take a second to thank the people that have been with me for quite a long time, in some cases ridiculous, and I appreciate it. Mark and Kyle, and of course the Corporation Seneca Meadows, have been with me for some time now. We thank them. Del Lago Resort and Casino. It's kind of funny. I was working part-time out there until recently, and Jeff Babinski came in and didn't see his ad on the rolling screen, and he said, why am I not up there? I said, you have to tell us you want to sponsor the show, and the next day they were up there. Pretty simple. So we want to thank the Del Lago Resort and Casino, my friend Jeff Babinski, who's president or general manager at Del Lago. The Gould Hotel, Kyle just mentioned, they've been with me for several years. We thank the Gould Hotel. Our friend Rich Rickey of the Wilson Press, he did promise to go to lunch with us, and he stiffed us because he was too busy.
That's right.
We'll get him down in 2018. My friend Rich Rickey over at Wilson Press. If you have any press needs or printing needs, my friend Rich Rickey is there. Our lovable friend, we all love him, Gary Schlegel of McGee Diner. He's been with me for several months. You know, I love Gary as a friend on Facebook because he's got to come out of his shell. I mean, he's not bold enough with his commentaries. It's almost hilarious. Gary, I love you. Him and his wife, Kathy, have been sponsoring the show for several months. But I love Gary's comments. They're to the point, direct, and you know where you stand. I like that about the guy. And by the way, the food at McGee Diner is second to none. It's fabulous. The Newark Pilots, and of course the Omen Theater, Bob and Leslie Omen over in Lyons, Wayne County. They've been with me for several years. We want to thank Bob and Leslie. They're close friends of mine. And I leave a couple to the end because it is kind of warm. Sometimes you pinch yourself doing this kind of a job in this kind of business, being a broadcaster of some sort, trying to do a weekly show and have fun with people, bring in some important stories, which I think we do. Sometimes we have a lot more fun than we have serious in this show, but sometimes we try to blend it. But if you think about it, if you'd told me that for 33 years I would have a sponsor called the Cayuga Lake National Bank, my friend Bill Ryan, 33 years. Back in the radio days, they started, because Bill and myself have been friends for forever. I do have an account there, but it's amazing that he's been with me for 33 consecutive years as a sponsor of, well, it used to be Weber on Sports, and now it's Weber This Week. So Weber on Sports on the radio. Kyle remembers the back of the days when I used to do this show. 33 years as a sponsor. I pinch myself thinking of the longevity of some people that have been with me. And I don't slip them a check to keep me on the air here, but that's great. And I want to thank Bill Ryan and his team for doing that. And I will not be remiss if I did not talk about a local business back in the radio days, Padula's Liquor Store on good old Bridge Street. Mom and Dad, I don't know, Dad liked me, or they used to play pool at Marino's Pool Hall, bringing back memories now. And he wanted to come on as a sponsor, and I said, sure, love to have you. When I was doing my Weber on Sports show from 7:35 to 8 a.m. on WSFW radio. Stayed with me, and there were days probably didn't sell a bottle of booze in that store because of winter or whatever. Never canceled. Was on him and his wife forever. They pass on to heaven. Turn the business over to Amy. Amy's been with me forever. 31 years. 31 years. So I need to send out plaudits to Cayuga Lake National Bank for 33 years of sponsoring my radio and my internet show, and Amy Padula. 31 years. So, Amy, I love you. I can't imagine what I would have done without you guys. There's so much time. And speaking of Kyle and speaking of Mark, who are good friends of mine, and yes, they're sponsors, I just want to say thank you for appearing and come on the show. If you've been invited to appear on this show, we thank you for taking time to come on and be a part of the Weber show that we do every Monday. Sometimes we have screw up with guests and we do sports talk, which is okay as well sometimes. But next year we're going to try to continue bringing in guests of some significance of some issues. And just give you a quick rundown. I know we're a couple minutes over, but on the 8th we're bringing in Joel Murney Karsten talking about 2020. Then on the 15th we're bringing in Marissa Ruby, who's involved in safe harbors. That'll be on the 15th of January. The 22nd, these guys are going to love this. I was busting his chops to have him come on. He's kind of a laid-back guy. He needs all the support he can get from the Weber Show. Yeah, right. Connie's Diner, Carmen Cardazola. He doesn't need my support. I never can get in the place. I went by yesterday to get Marry Me breakfast. Forget about it. Just kept going. It was packed. But Carmen Cardazola has agreed to come on the 22nd. Jeff Babinski, fingers crossed. We haven't seen Jeff in several months. He's pretty busy. We hope to have him on the 29th of January. And then, of course, on the 5th of February, Rachel and Bill Ewell available. They run the Hunter's Diner in Auburn, New York, and there's a story behind that, and I'll get to it when they're on the air. Rachel and Bill Jewell, they are Hunter's Diner owner over in Auburn on Main Street, whatever that street's called. Franklin? I can't remember the street. Main Street, whatever it is. And, of course, on the 12th of February, we're bringing in a young man who I met at Del Lago who kind of reminded me of myself. Very sports. He was into sports young, grew up, following everything. He's a stat guy. He loves everything about sports. And he just talks. When I was working with him in the bus area, and I decided to invite him on the show and talk about his career as a sports nut. But he also works part-time in the promotion department at Del Lago Resort and Casino. So, gentlemen, thanks again for coming in. And Kyle, to you and your family, the best of holidays, and wish you well.
Same to you, Harold. Have a great Christmas.
Mark, same to you. And hope you have a good
Merry
holiday
Christmas.
season.
Merry Christmas.
All right. And keep spoiling that pretty wife of yours. I know.
Will do.
I check on her photos. Good job. All right, folks. Take care. And for Jimmy Senecropi, and for the dog, and for Kyle Black and Mark Benjamin. Hey, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, everybody. Enjoy the holiday season. Here comes Santa.